Alrighty. So that's going to work a lot better. Alrighty. Alright, I had to restart my stream just because it wasn't working too well. Got my gear that we were working on last week and ready to go. Oh wow, 2 people already. Hello, 1 person. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well this week. Just continuing on working on a gear I was working on last week. So, if you haven't seen that one, you're more than welcome to go check out the other one. So, where to continue? So again, this kind of general area is where I'm going to want the battle sequence to go. So what I'm going to do is for these lines, I'm going to kind of just straighten them out a little bit. That way. Kind of straighten these out just a little bit so whenever I extrude them out, it's going to be a little more flat line. So hopefully everybody's doing well today. So like I said, if you all have any questions about anything I'm doing, reason why I'm modeling the way I am, you're more than welcome to ask questions. Alrighty, I'm gonna keep that going. Delete that. Delete that. And delete that. Delete that face either. Take all that, delete it. So now I'm working with one flat face. That'll do good. Also won't need that. Alrighty. So now one thing I'm going to probably want to do, just to keep everything even, is add a edge loop right here in the center. And to get a perfect centered edge loop, you can just go in, use multiple edges, set it to 1, and it will snap right directly in the middle. That's something that's useful, nice to use. So then from there, I can go in. I'm going to want to add one center view. There we go. To the center of all this, just so I can select all the bottom faces and delete them. One of the things I do a lot when working on a model is just so I can get symmetry. If I make certain changes, I'll just use a mirror edge loop or mirror object to keep symmetry. So if you're wondering what all that background noise is, my dog has kind of decided that he's itchy, so he's going to roll around on the carpet. That or bored. Itchy or bored, not sure. He had surgery about a year ago, and some of his fur and on his backside's a little shaved, so sometimes he gets a little itchy. It's kind of adorable. Let's get these going. Oop. Oop, oop. And I know that watching someone 3D model slow and steady is probably not the most entertaining thing in the world, but it's something I like to do. Oh, right, I gotta get these inside faces. Boop. Boop. That might help. Just a tad. There we go. So now I should be able to select all this bottom and delete it. Alrighty. So that's a good quarter of it. And I can just reshape this just a bit and bring those out. Scale them up just a bit. Take this one. Yeah, there we go. Then take these two, kind of bring them in just a hair. All right, that should extrude out fairly nicely. All right, so now I'm going to take this object, center pivot, go to mesh, go to mirror. First thing I want to do is in the y-axis, and I'm going down, so negative, apply. Okay, so before I do that, what I'm going to want to do is I forgot something important. I need to take all my edges right here in the center. And I can, however you want to select them, it doesn't matter. I don't mind going one at a time. Go to my things and line them up. So that way, now it's perfectly in the center. And just because, I'm going to take this vertex, I'm going to snap it with that. Same with this one. There we go. I like that a little bit better. Just take these vertices, kind of move them out a little bit. Same with these over here. All right, a little less drastic. There we go. Is there anything else I don't like? Now's like a good time to kind of, change out anything that looks a little too big or too wonky. That side will get it. Yeah, we can take all these, bring them in a little bit. Yeah, that looks just about right. All right, so now I'll take the object, center pivot, apply. Let's see. And like I said, you can play around with settings whenever you're doing it. So I'm going to do bridging it. Yeah, that's about right. That way I can just go in and just take these faces and delete them. Same with any of these, because what that does is, I probably mentioned it in my previous live stream, is you never want in guns and you never want inside faces. When you have something like this with vertices in the middle of your line right here, that's causing this face right here to become an end gun. It has more than 4 vertices, 4 edges. So what I'm going to do, just sometimes, tools you use for quick, easy stuff like mirroring won't always be perfect. So what I can do is I can delete these faces that I'm not going to need because I'm going to have to mirror them back over. I can take edges like these. Make sure I select all the ones I'm going to want to. And then I can do the same thing with these. Same thing with these. I just select all the troublemakers. Because it seems there's a lot of them. Alright. right. Get over here. Because what I'm going to do to these is I'm going to merge the vertices. And normally you'd go in and select the vertices you want to merge and, select them one by one to do it. What I'm doing is a bit of a shortcut to that. Is once I have all the edges I want, I'm just going to control click, and I'm going to go two vertices. So then it goes and you have all the vertices you need to merge already lined up. I'm going to close out that window. I'm going to go to merge vertices. I'm going to say a solid 1. No, 0.1. 0.1. I'm going to hit apply, and that is too close. A little too strong. So, way I probably had it with 001. And apply. There we go. So, one center line. So now I'm going to go back to object. Going to mirror it again. Mesh. Mirror. This time in the X and in the positive. And this time I should be able just to merge. I guess I'm moving in the Z. In the Z negative. Lost track of where I was in my X, Y, and Z field. That's okay. Because now I have this. So, looks like my merging wasn't 100% because I got these little dividends on the end. That's okay. Because I'm going to go in. So I'm going to take these faces. I'm going to delete them. I could probably just, there we go. Since it's lined up all weird like, I could probably just do that and select all of it. Go to 4, make sure I only have those selected, delete them. And kind of do something real quick. I'm just peeking inside the holes, just make sure I don't have any inside faces that was causing the issues. You don't have to ever peek like that. You can just rely on your view through the 4, which is the wireframe, and kind of view it from there, and you should be able to kind of pick out if you have it. But sometimes it's nice just to see it as a whole. So now that I have those, I'm just going to go to vertices, go back to this view, and I'm just going to select all those. Have a real quick way to do that, and then again, close that window out, go to merge vertices, go to the box. That's not strong enough to do it, so 0.01, apply. There we go. And that should shut all those out. So then I can go to edge. I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to select that, deselect that, and that should leave me my center line. So again, I'm going to go to my scale tool, hold down V to snap, line it up, center it out. Ooh, I ended up having that one. I need that one. Try that again. A little off kilter. Oh, nope, had that one selected too. Look at me making all sorts of mistakes. There we go. Put it up, snap, bring it to right about where I'd like center, just in case if I ever need to do anything else to it. All right. So this kind of center arena is, this whole gear is kind of going to be a thing. So I'm going to make a little pivot in that kind of looks like it's supposed to hold it in place. So I'm going to take this top one, take its scale, and I'm just going to extrude it in to right about like that. Then I'm going to extrude it out. I'm going to go one more extrude out. Scale this in a little bit. Extrude it like that. Sometimes it does that. When your model starts messing up, it's best just to take your object and delete your history and then center pivot. Generally, when your model starts doing weird things, because it has something in the history that's telling it, hey, this is facing up when it's really facing forward. And your vertices faces can kind of get a little weird. So if it ever starts doing that, it's 99% of the time due to the history. So now I can reselect this, go back to scale, and when I extrude, still kind of messing up that way. Probably something going along with my edge flow. But that's okay. As soon as I flatten the face and then extrude up, it is fine. Edge flow can kind of mess with you a little bit, so you got to be careful when you're playing with it. So I'm going to take this edge now, bring it a little bit up, scale it a little bit out, kind of just pre-beveling that edge a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take an edge, loop, and I'm going to turn it back to relative. Go down here, kind of give that out. Yeah, that's still set the object. Go into here and just kind of lift that up a little bit. And then scale this one just up a little bit. Kind of just a semi-bevel to it. Yeah, I can do the same thing to the base here, but I'll worry about that more when I'm doing the high poly version of it. So now I'm going to go in. Oop. Things got moved over here. I'm just going to match that back up real quick. Same with this one. Where are you supposed to go? Right there. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay. So, yeah, that can happen sometimes when you're selecting stuff. Whenever I had the top one selected, I was deselecting the edges. I didn't really look at the bottom there, and that was my mistake. All right. So now that I got that, make sure I didn't select anything on top. And this one, I'm just going to come straight down. Give it about like, that looks like a good lug to it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, take that like that, take a face, then I'm going to extrude in and bevel that up. So it kind of looks like it's supposed to match. Up to that, close enough. And now I'm going to take these bottom faces, select them, deselect the top part, so I have these back. Extrude in to right about there. And I am going to go ahead and extrude down. And oh, I don't even know if I have my live chat on. I just now noticed that. Interesting. See if this is working. All right, that should be on then. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So now that I got that going, later on, whatever I could do, I can make this as infinitely long as I need for whatever scene I'm doing. I might make different gears with different ones. And if I ever want to rotate mine, I could just cut them from this edge and have the whole thing rotate. Wouldn't be too hard to do. All right, so that will be the rotating piece. And honestly, I think that's pretty good for this piece. Oh, except for one last thing that I need to address. This would be a horrible gear because of the line here. So let's multiple edge loops, get it right in the center on both sides of these. Take these, pull them out, right about there. Scale. Flat, move them back out in a little bit. Take these edges, get them back out. A little bit better. Okay, do the same to this side. Just and then take these edges and drop them in, going forward by spreading them. And there we go. Alrighty. So that is a finished gear as far as the original goes. So now I'm going to delete history, center pivot, delete transformation. There we go. So now I have that gear. So I'm going to go to layers. I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is, now that I have everything done for this, I'm going to rename it to gear OR for original. I'm going to make a duplicate. I'm going to call this gear LP for low poly. And I'm going to make a duplicate and call this gear high poly. So I'm going to grab the original. I'm going to go layers, create layers from selected. I'm just going to call this original LR for layer. Then I'm going to create low poly, same thing. Name this high poly LR. You can abbreviate the whole thing however you name your convention is up to you, but naming conventions is extremely important. Did I do that wrong? I did. Okay. So remove selected object. Shift H. And then add selected object. Okay. There we go. So then we're going to call this low poly. All right, better to catch it now than later, though. I'll tell you that. All right, so now it should all be gone. Which one is this? All right. All righty. So let's start with the high poly. So, all righty. Your edge loop friend becomes your best friend in high poly. Because what high poly is being able to take the object and make it a high resolution object. So if I were to just take this and make it a high poly, real quick, let me increment and save before I mess anything up, is to smooth it out twice. And if I take this object and I smooth it out twice, well, while that's kind of okay, it's nowhere near what you would want it. So you have to go in and tell it exactly where you want your hard surfaces versus your soft surfaces. And we do that with edge loops. So I'm going to go in, put a line there, take these faces. Actually, it's going to be easier to do this first. Go to faces, these layers, deselect these layers, go to scale. Ooh. Screw those in like so. And then do another one right there. And extruding or hard surface modeling works usually in the rules of 3. So if you want a hard edge anywhere in your model, you're going to have 3 edges to it for the most part. You can get away with 2, but sometimes you'll get crinkling when you do that. That's not a fun thing. And we'll check out. I'm a little worried about those corners on how the edge flow is due to crinkling, but we'll cross that road when we get there. So far I'm hard modeling the inside of these, but do I really want to hard model the inside of these? Let's take a look how they're looking. So that's hard and that's soft. So I do like the hardened versus the soft. And if you're doing anything along in Maya and you need help with any of the tools or shortcuts or methods, feel free to leave me a message. I know I have 2 people watching, but I don't know if they model or anything, so I don't know if this is the kind of thing that would interest them. But if it is, hooray, welcome. Now I'm going to harden all that. Now for this outside, going up. Oh, looks like I might have a messed up face here. Let's go to vertex. Yep. Alrighty. Yeah, for some reason I have in my center spots on a couple of these somehow a extra face. Is it an extra face or just a vertice? Let's find out. It is just extra vertice. Okay. So if you get that, I'm just going to take a target weld and just snap them to the center. And if you saw it create that extra line, that was Maya trying to automatically take care of the N-gon, trying to rationalize why there's a vertice in the center. And that's kind of one of the reasons why you don't want these N-gons. These were probably created when I was mirroring it, and I just didn't catch them whenever I was fusing everything together. In fact, I think I might know where one more set of these are if it created it here, which I'll probably have to go in and fix. But that's okay. You know, as we work, we'll keep an eye on little changes like that. Alrighty. Well, I don't see any more for now. So let's continue. So going back to my insert edge loops. One up there, one down here. Oh, got another one. Did I miss one? I'm not seeing it. Ooh, okay, so these two didn't fuse. Alright, so it's probably the same on this side. And like I said, as I'm doing the edge loops this time, I'm going to just kind of keep an eye on that, because some of these might have that problem. And that's one of the reasons why I like edge loops. It will let you know if it doesn't like something. And there's ways to automatically check for N-gons. There's a tool, cleanup tool you can use. It kind of auto checks for them. I kind of do that near the end. I know now where the mess ups on this one were, so I can just go in and fix them when I start to work on the low poly. I'm not going to go back and really worry about fixing them on the original too much, because I'm not really going to use the original for anything at this point. Alrighty, so then I'm going to add one line on this side, one line on this side, and then one line on the top, one line on the bottom. And let's see how these will work. Okay, so to keep these hard edges on here, I'm going to have to come in and add a line to each one of these, and add a line up there, and add a line at the bottom. So just bear with me as I just go through the motions of getting this down. So I hope everybody's having a good Thursday so far. Been a crazy week. And hope everybody's having fun too. That's the important part, you know. During the pandemic and everything, you know, not being able to really go out and socialize, you still need to find ways to entertain yourself. You know, you can't just bottle up and expect to let a little bit of YouTube or a little bit of I don't know what you guys watched, you know, Twitch, cartoons, anime. I I don't know. But you can't solely rely on those to keep you entertained. You got to pick up a hobby or something, you know? For me, it's wood making, it's leather working, it's, whatever project I can get my hands on. Um, I make all sorts of kind of stuff. And that's just because I like doing artisan work as a hobby. Hence why I do just about everything in game design, programming, modeling, rigging, animation. Is I always have to have something that stimulates me. And I think in times like this, that is important to find something that stimulates you. And I'm not saying do artisan work, although I do find that to be a good example of stuff you can do while at home. But find something that you can engage in and stimulate yourself with. Um, you know, it doesn't have to be social. While being social is great, and it's important for our mental health to be able to socialize, there are a lot of things you can find fulfillment in without the need for socializing. So in a time like now when it's hard to go socialize, go places, be safe, really it's the perfect time to really try to find something for you. And I am actually almost done with these. Now, if you trust your center line on a model, once you high poly one side, you can just mirror it on the other. Since mine has been a hair off kiltered, I'm just going to go in and do these myself and just kind of go all the way around. Now, like I said, I'm not saying I'm a good modeler by any means necessary. I can get the job done and I can make it look nice and I can make the game run well. And I think that's really in the end what's important to me is does it run well and does it look passable? And for me, I'm going to kind of make this be very passable. Like I said, it's going to be a rotating battlefield. I'm actually just finished that. Okay, so let's go to smooth preview, kind of see how we're looking so far. I'm liking that. Alrighty. It'll be a little hard getting that back up, but we can do our best. Now to go down here, continue our edge loops. And I wouldn't say this is a impressive model or even one like if you did at home to really show off. But the reason why I'm doing these is I'm just making props for the project I'm going to be announcing soon. So, someone has to model. Anything you need in a video game, you have to model. So if you need a giant gear platform for your character to stand on that rotates and does stuff, you got to model it. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. One last thing. The important thing about high poly, what I'm doing here, is if you're going to bring it into sculpting and sculpt some detail onto it, you have to high poly it first because any sculpting program is going to take what you have and smooth it thousands of times and have 60,000 to 6 million polygons, and you're going to be sculpting on that. So get this down right and you can bring it in the sculpting. I may not, we'll see. Most likely I like sculpting. It's like clay work but with digital stuff. I noticed one area that needs some edge loops. Oop and oop. All right, let's see how that's looking now. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's looking nice. And that is my high poly gear. So what crimpling is, you can kind of see it along this edge right here. And it's because of the angle that my thing is at while it's smoothing. It's trying to add polygons right there. And that also has to do with the edge flow I have to it, which is fine. But I could theoretically get rid of that line and it would get rid of that. So I'm going to change some of the silhouette of it a little bit, but I don't like that. Do not like that. Also, I wonder if part of the problem, yep, that might be also part of the reason why it's crimping. Probably on this side too. Yep. And when you see things like this, that's when you can tell there's an issue. Is that this is also having all sorts of and this kind of, like I said, when I preach no endgons, you can kind of see why I'm saying that now. Because when you see how Maya itself is reading this detail, so you see how kind of messy that is versus how nice and orderly that is. That becomes important when you're sculpting. When it's dividing your model into millions of polygons, how it reads the data is very important. Becomes even more important when you're rigging. Because God, if you don't have your vertices aligned right when you're trying like to move an elbow or whatever, you don't want to bend your elbow and polygons start shooting out this way because, you know, it's reading different sections. And that's really important. So I'm just going to kind of go through here and just check up on everything. It's looking good, looking good, looking good. Looking good, checking underneath, checking around, and the object mode. Checking the wireframe. Yep, that is looking good. Alrighty. So I am pleased with that gear. So that is the high poly. So let's see. Is there anything I want to do to this before I take into sculpting? Because right now, once you get to this point, how you go about the project can really change your workflow at this point. One thing I could do is I could take this and I could go ahead and UV the high poly. So that way when I bring it into, let's say, Mudbox, I can go ahead and sculpt the detail, paint it, do all the work in Mudbox, and then I could just transfer all my maps out. And then I have all my maps ready to go. And if I were to bring it into a texture maps, I can just bring those maps in. It'll load up the base layers, the base, shading, the base, everything you want to it. And then I could work from there. That's one way to do it. the other way I could do it is I could bring it in, sculpt it, export its 0 layer back to Maya, take the 0 layer, make a UV map of the 0 layer, and then use that as the baking tool to bake the detail from this onto the 0 layer, and then have a low poly that way. Third way is I can sculpt, bring this in without the UV map whatsoever, sculpt it, change as much as I want onto it, bring this gear back into Maya, and then quad draw over it, making a new normal low poly that, and then bake the detail on. All 4 ways are completely valid. Some methods work better for some things, some don't. It's really based on how it's working for you. Oh, pardon me. Ugh. So, really for this, I got to kind of decide, maybe stare at it for a little bit and just think, what in the bloody hell do I want to do with this gear? Do I want writing on it? Do I want divots in? Do I want to break it? What do I want to do to this gear to make it unique? I'm already 45 minutes in, and I don't think anybody wants to sit here and stare at me going, So, I'm probably going to end it pretty soon. It shows only one person watching, which very well could just be me. Could be me watching my own thing. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm open to questions if you want to talk about anything else, world events, talk about how crappy this year is. But yeah. So I'm just going to kind of think for a few minutes. If nothing kind of comes to mind, I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. Before I do that, do the 3 magical keys: the center pivot, delete history, freeze transformation, and I'm going to go ahead and increment and save. Let's see. I can't really think of anything. What I'm probably going to do is before next week, when I come back to this project, I'm going to kind of decide what I'm going to do then. Like I said, I'm working on other things. This will be the end of video announcement, I guess. I do work on other projects outside of my Thursday project. I just leave this one up so you guys can kind of see me work through projects from start to finish. I'm going to start uploading, daily live stream videos on Twitch that just shows me working. It's not going to be as slow or as personal. And I'm not really going to focus too much about, going through every little thing like I do here. It's just going to be me live streaming, and you guys can come check, see what I'm doing, what part of the beta I'm working on. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Like I said, I do like 45 minutes to 1 hour every Thursday. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.